My beloved child. There are those who think that hell is a faraway place, a realm that begins only after the soul departs from the body. But in truth, hell begins within the heart when my light is slowly extinguished. It is not an instant blaze of fire, but the quiet fading of faith's warmth, the breath of life replaced by indifference, the moment when a heart ceases to tremble before my presence. Hell, my child, does not begin with loud rebellion, but with a silent turning away, with a small choice that seems harmless, a single moment of ignoring the gentle whisper of the Holy Spirit. Every time you place something above me, whether it is a thought, a habit, or a fear, you lay another brick on the path that leads downward. People often believe that only those who commit great evils are doomed to destruction. But my dear one, hell is not reserved only for the openly defiant. It also welcomes those whose hearts have grown cold, those who no longer seek me. Micah 7:8 says, "Though I fall, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." But do you see, the one who refuses to rise, the one who chooses to remain in darkness, that is the soul already descending into hell without realizing it. Destruction does not strike in a moment. It unfolds slowly as you stop longing for truth, stop listening for my voice, and grow comfortable in your emptiness. The world calls that freedom, but in truth, it is a chain. It has no shape, no sound, yet it tightens around your soul with sweet deception. You will not hear the clatter of shackles, but you will feel a heaviness inside when my presence no longer brings you joy but feels like a burden. When you begin to make excuses to delay prayer, when you find it easier to stay busy than to be still before me, when you treat small sins lightly, saying, "Everyone is weak," that is when the first flame of hell has touched your spirit. It is not the fire of punishment, but the fire of disconnection, where you no longer feel my breath upon your soul. I see your soul fragile, like a small oil lamp flickering in the wind. One moment of neglect could snuff out its light, yet one tear of repentance could rekindle it. That is why I tell you, hell does not begin. At the end of the journey, it begins with a choice. When Adam and Eve listened to the serpent, hell did not appear instantly, but darkness entered their hearts. They began to fear, to hide from me, and that was when the heaven within them broke apart. They were not expelled from Eden at once. First, they lost paradise within their souls. So it is with you, my child. Every time you choose a thought contrary to truth, you open a small door for the darkness to enter. Hell is not merely the absence of me. It is the condition of a soul that has forgotten it was made for me. When you live without making me your center, everything else, no matter how beautiful, becomes meaningless. You may possess the whole world yet still thirst. You may be praised by many yet still feel empty in the night. You may achieve success yet still feel lost. That is because your soul was created for communion with me, and when that bond is severed, nothing on earth can fill the void. Understand this: no one falls into the abyss in one great leap, but through 1,000 small steps of neglect. Satan does not come to your door with a terrifying face. He comes as a gentle lullaby. He does not tell you to reject me outright. He simply whispers, "You can skip prayer today." He does not tell you to abandon your faith. He softly suggests, "Just rest a little," and if you repeat that long enough, your spirit will fall asleep. When that happens, no one needs to drag you into hell. You will drift there on your own. I do not say this to frighten you, but to help you see the weight of every small choice. Each day you choose either to draw nearer to me or farther away. There is no neutrality in the spiritual realm. Light and darkness cannot dwell in the same room. The moment the light fades, darkness takes its place. So it is with your heart. When you stop seeking me, it will naturally fill with other things: worry, ambition, envy, or apathy. These are the seeds of hell. And hell, my child, does not wait for death to begin its burning. It burns even now whenever you live without me. Look around this world. How many people smile without joy, live without hope, love without compassion. They walk, eat, and work, but inside they are dead, not the death of the body but of the soul. That is hell operating in the world. It wears the mask of satisfaction of false abundance of smiles without light, but beneath it lies a deep emptiness that no word can fill. And my child, if you are not watchful, you too could slowly become like them, losing your soul while thinking you are alive. That is why I call you to awaken. Do not overlook the small changes in your heart. Do not disregard a moment's distraction in prayer. Do not think that skipping one day of seeking me makes no difference. One day without light allows darkness to root. 1 week without listening makes my voice seem distant. 1 month without repentance hardens your heart. And then when you return, you will ask, "Why can I no longer feel you?" My child, it is not that I have left you. It is that you have walked away from where I wait. Yet remember this, as long as you can still hear my voice, the door remains open. No matter how far your soul has fallen, if you cry out, "Lord, save me," I will come. For I am not only the judge, I am the Redeemer. Though you fall, I reach out my hand. Though you wander, I wait. Though you are lost, I search for you. Stop now, my beloved, before it is too late. Do not let the darkness become your companion, for once you grow used to it, the light will pain you. Let my light shine again into the places you thought were dead, and you will live once more. Because hell was never a place I created for you. It was made for the enemy, but humankind, in the stubbornness of their hearts, have chosen it for themselves. And heaven, my child, is not merely a reward. It is the home of those who know that without me they cannot live. Hell begins the moment you forget that truth, but heaven begins the moment you remember it. My beloved child, separation does not always arrive with heavy footsteps. It often comes like a soft mist at dawn, settling gently over the soul until you believe you are still in the light. It does not pound at the door or shout in your ear. It breathes quietly, soothing you with reasonable words, lulling you with harmless comforts. You tell yourself, "Just today, I'll pray longer tomorrow." You say, "Just this once, then I'll return to my routine." But day after day, habit becomes pattern, pattern becomes wall, and the wall becomes a prison. When you finally look around, you realize you have wandered farther than you ever intended. That quietness is the sound of distance, and that distance is the sigh of my heart as you slowly learn to live without me. I know you did not mean to drift away. You still speak of me, still mention my name, still do many things that appear devout, but you rarely stop long enough to look deeply into my eyes. You forget that life does not flow from activity, but from intimacy. You can be busy for me, and yet be far from me. You can give much to me, and yet not give yourself. Revelation 2:4-5 speaks of those who have forsaken their first love. That word was not addressed to those who left the church, but to those who stayed, yet whose hearts had grown empty. They worked hard, endured. Much were known for patience, but lacked one thing. I was no longer their first priority. When the essential is traded for the secondary, decline begins without a sound. Subtle separation often wears the mask of balance. You say, "I must care for my family, my career, my responsibilities." I hear you and I understand. But my child, when balance means giving me only a slice of your time instead of letting me be the leaven in the whole loaf, then that balance is another name for division. I do not ask for a corner in your schedule. I am the one by whom every moment finds meaning. When you let work define your worth, applause define your identity, or relationships determine your direction, you have handed the helm to trembling hands. You may not notice it, but you are drifting away from the shore of peace, letting your boat glide along calm waters, waters that quietly flow toward a dead sea. Distance also loves to disguise itself as wisdom. It tells you not to be too zealous, not to feel too deeply, not to depend too much on prayer. It teaches you a self-control that no longer hungers. It calls apathy calmness and labels a heart that no longer trembles at my voice as mature. But my child, that is not maturity, it is numbness. When the heart no longer burns, the soul begins to cool. When the coals become ashes, everything around may remain warm, but the heat that sustains life is gone. Sometimes you believe you are still near me because you have not committed any visible sin. Yet you are living with spiritual blind spots. You let good intentions hide impure motives. You let righteous acts mask an unquenched thirst. You sing much, but no longer marvel at grace. You preach much, but rarely tremble before holiness. You serve much, but seldom pause to listen to my whisper. This is the quietness of distance, outward activity, full inward communion fading. When the source is cut off, even the pipe carries only emptiness. I do not blame you for being weary. I know your strength is limited. I see the demands that press upon you. But my child, do not let exhaustion become the reason you disconnect from heaven's flow. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. That is the path the world forgets, but the spring I have reserved for my own. When you linger in stillness, you allow me to refill your lamp with oil. When you put down your phone to lift your hands in prayer, you cut the cords of distraction. When you close the door and whisper, Father, you break the invisible walls the enemy built through busyness. Learn the art of examining your heart daily, not in anxiety, but in peace. Bring before me the corners few. Ever touch the quiet envy, the hidden comparison, the wound you avoid, the subtle desire, the clever pride. Do not rearrange your inner room to look tidy. Open the window and let the light in. Light not only exposes dust, it heals. When you confess, you allow me to name. When I name, darkness loses its grip. Hebrews 3:1-5 reminds today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Today, not tomorrow, not when you are free, not when the work is done. Today is the altar. Indeed, every moment can become an altar if you offer it up. Be careful with gentle compromises. They are the choices that do not break laws but erode the fire within the content you consume, the stories you repeat, the chats you join, the laughter you share, the praise you receive. None seem grave enough to be called sin, but together they weigh your spirit like a leaden cloak. Guard the gates, your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your mind. Do not let your heart drag a body driven by algorithms and advertisements. You are not fighting flesh and blood, but the invisible current that shapes souls into the world's image. Choose simplicity, slow meals, unhurried walks, honest conversations, screenless nights, mornings filled with the living word. Simplicity will not make you poor, it will restore your ability to listen. I also want to speak to you about pain, for it is the doorway through which distance often enters. When misunderstood, you withdraw. When prayer seems unanswered, you hesitate. When betrayed, you build walls. Those walls protect the wound, but they also block the light. I do not despise what you have suffered. I stand in the dark room where you've locked yourself. I knock not to interrogate, but to heal. Bring your bitterness to me, do not keep it as evidence against me. Tell me your questions, do not turn them into verdicts. When you forgive, you unbolt the door. When you release, you remove the chain. The quietness of distance often begins with one unheard sigh. Let that sigh become the cry, Lord, help me. My child, returning is not about restarting your list of religious duties. It is about reordering your love. Rearrange the hierarchy of your affections. Love yourself less, idolize success, less crave applause, less. Learn to love truth above comfort, my presence above productivity, my word above opinions. Name your soft idols, a pleasant dream, an admired position, a soothing routine, a self-image you cling to. Do not smash them in anger, place them on the altar. My fire does not destroy what is mine, it refines, leaving pure gold. I know you fear failing again. You hesitate to start because you fear you cannot sustain. But faithfulness begins with small, steady steps, not with grand promises. Choose one fixed hour to be still, one short verse to meditate on, one simple prayer to breathe. Father, be here with me. Write down what I whisper. Record the fears you've released. Review them at day's end, not to condemn but to give thanks. You will see warmth returns, not through strong wind, but through steady hands adding wood to the fire. Do not walk alone. The silence of distance thrives in hidden corners. Let one or two people have permission to ask you real questions. What has God said to you today? What troubles your heart? Are you hiding in activity instead of abiding in Him? Community cannot replace me, but it helps you hear me more clearly. When you share, darkness loses its foothold. When others pray for you, your hands gain strength to rise again. Do not panic over the distance that has formed. I am not far. I am waiting at the threshold for you. Distance is not measured in miles, but in a single yes. If you merely turn around, heaven shifts its wind. If you lift your eyes, the walls begin to crack. If you breathe out, forgive me, the invisible cords snap. I have walked this road before you, from the garden to the cross, from the dark tomb to the dawn. I know how to lead a soul home. No complicated ritual, no proof required, only a return to the place where the first love was kindled. There you will remember who you are, the one called by name, the one lifted out of the mire, the one washed clean by priceless blood. The hush of distance will be drowned out by another whisper, my child. When you hear it, do not argue, do not delay. Answer as Samuel did. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Let that answer become the new rhythm of every morning. You will see an entire day is transfigured when its first hour belongs to me. You will see decisions turn clear when the heart is bathed in peace. You will see temptations lose their allure when you are satisfied in my presence. Hell begins with a silence set in the wrong direction. Heaven springs from a small reply. Do not despise the seed of return. Sow 1 minute of stillness, and you will reap an hour of peace. Sow 1 confession, and you will reap a day of lightness. Sow 1 act of forgiveness, and you will reap a season of freedom. And when the leaves change in your soul, you will know I have never stopped calling, never stopped seeking, never stopped waiting. Today, take a single step, and I will carry you the rest of the way. My child, there is a danger greater than sin itself. It is when you no longer recognize that you are sinning. When darkness lingers too long in the heart, your eyes grow used to it, and you begin to call it normal. As those who live at night forget the meaning of dawn, so a soul long estranged loses the capacity to hunger for my presence. And when you no longer hunger, hell has sunk its deepest roots within. For the fallen still have a chance to rise, but the one asleep in coldness sees no reason to return. The peril of forgetfulness lies in its sweetness. It gives you a false sense of safety, like a beautiful dream that hides the fact you are slowly suffocating. You still attend worship, still recite prayers, still do good deeds, yet everything has become form without fire. You are not pretending. Your heart has simply grown cold. Each prayer turns hollow, each hymn dry, each good work heavy. You do it because you must, not because you love. And I, the one who gave you a soul to live in love, see you pass your days without me, in your heart, and my own heart aches. When you cannot hear my voice, do not rush to conclude that I am silent. Perhaps the noise of the world has made you deaf. When you cannot feel my presence, do not think I have left. Perhaps other priorities have crowded me out. I have not withdrawn from you, but you have built a wall around yourself, brick by brick, of busyness, worry, and self-satisfaction. Each brick is a time you chose something else instead of me. Each layer of mortar is a reasonable excuse you used to justify it. And when the wall is finished, you stand within it, unaware that the light no longer shines in. The gravest danger is aimless drift. The waves are not fierce, the wind not strong, yet they carry you far. You do not feel the loss at once, not until you look back and the shore where you once stood fades into mist. This is what happens to a soul that ceases to keep spiritual discipline. Prayer is replaced by scrolling through feeds. My word is replaced by news. Silence is replaced by noise. Worship is replaced by moods. You do not betray me with words, but with forgetting, and forgetting is the quietest form of betrayal. If you ask why so many no longer seek me, I tell you because they are full of empty things. They have drawn from cracked cisterns, and because that water soothes for a moment, they imagine they have enough. But I tell you the truth, nothing but me can satisfy you. Sin never fills the soul. It only makes you thirstier. Like salt in seawater, the more you drink, the thirstier you become, and the thirstier you are, the closer you come to death. Only the water of life revives you. Only the river that flows from my throne can end the drought of your soul. My child, when your heart drifts from me, it is not only you who suffer. The world around you loses the light I meant you to carry. You are a lamp set on a stand salt within the earth. When the lamp goes out, darkness prevails. When the salt loses its savor, the ground is ruined. The estrangement of one soul is not merely a private loss. It is a crack that spreads through my whole body. When you cease to burn, others lose a flame to guide them. When you cease to believe, others lose a witness to hope. When you cease to love others, cease to see me through you. I have placed in you a call that does not cease, the echo of heaven. It stirs whenever you are weary, whenever you are lonely, whenever you hear the quiet and sense the emptiness this world cannot fill. That emptiness is not the sign of failure, it is love's reminder. When something in you remains thirsty, though you possess everything, know that your soul is remembering its true home where you belong to me. The slide of the soul begins when you treat that thirst as a nuisance rather than an invitation. Do not grow accustomed to coldness. Do not say, I am just in a hard season. Hard seasons will not destroy you. Indifference will. In the furnace I was with Daniel's 3 friends. In the prison I was with Paul. But in self-satisfaction I cannot dwell, for I will not inhabit a heart already full of itself. If you want me with you, make room. Let me enter the place where you hide your hurt, the thing you will not mention, the corner you think will disappoint me. The more you hide, the more shelter darkness finds. The more you open, the more the light prevails. Faith is not a feeling. Some days you will feel nothing, but that does not mean I am absent. Walk by trust, not by sensation. Believe that when you do not hear, I still speak. When you do not see, I am still there. When you do not feel, I still hold you. It is often in the darkest nights that I work most powerfully. Like a seed germinating beneath the soil, hidden in darkness before it reaches the light, so your soul is being reborn through these silent seasons. And when you return, you will understand, I was never far. Every tear you shed has rested in my hand. Every upward glance in despair met my gentle gaze. I do not wait for you to become perfect to receive you. I receive you in order to heal you. Distance can never be greater than my love for you. Hell swallows only those who refuse the light. It cannot touch the one who turns back. Therefore, my child, if you hear my voice today, only today, do not hesitate. Open the door. Let the light in again. You will see the wonder of it all. A single ray of light can scatter the darkness. A single, I'm sorry, can shatter chains. A single breath of prayer can set heaven in motion. I have waited long for you, and nothing in your past has made me change my mind. You are still mine, still called by name, still chosen, still loved. Do not fear the distance, fear only the silence between us. Break it with one cry, and I will answer with all the mercy of heaven. The descent of the soul ends not through striving, but through surrender. When you release what you have been clinging to, you will find my hand was there from the beginning. Let me draw you out of the night. Let me breathe life into you again. Let me rewrite the story you thought was closed. Do not fear beginning again, for heaven is still open and dawn still waits. Hell begins in the heart, but so does heaven. The very moment you whisper, "Lord, I return, my beloved," there is a kind of darkness more dangerous than the deepest night, the darkness that exists within the light. It is when a soul believes it stands in truth, yet has fallen asleep amid revelation. When a fire that once blazed turns to fading embers, when spiritual joy is replaced by routine, when faith becomes habit instead of life, this is the sign of a spiritual slumber. It does not come with storms, but with quiet nights. It does not tear down the walls of faith. It simply weakens the unseen foundations until the house collapses without anyone knowing why. Lukewarmness is the silent enemy of my kingdom. It does not fight me with swords, but with neglect, with the sigh that says, "Everything is fine." It numbs passion, dulls hunger for prayer, silences awe before my word, and weakens longing for my presence. You still speak my name, yet no longer tremble before holiness. You still say God is good, but your lips have lost the quiver of one who has truly beheld glory. Like one who lingers too long near the hearth and no longer feels the heat, you stand amid grace, yet your soul grows cold. Do you know what I see? Those who remain active in ministry, who know every verse by heart, who lift their hands high in worship, yet their eyes are empty. They no longer seek me, they seek the feeling. They no longer walk by faith, they walk by memory. They no longer live in the living spirit, they live in the shadow of past encounters. And when memory replaces communion, faith has turned to stone. People think they still belong to me, yet they are living on the residue of what once was. Yesterday's manna cannot feed today's hunger. The oil from the past cannot keep your lamp burning tonight. I have spoken. You say, "I am rich," but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Revelation 3:1-7. These words were not written to unbelievers, but to those who once loved me. They still carry the form of godliness, yet have lost their power. They comfort themselves, saying, "At least I'm not like the world," but that comparison is pride's disguise. Lukewarmness does not arise from obvious sin, but from the belief that I am good enough. When the soul ceases to hunger for holiness, it begins to decay. No one stands still in the spiritual journey. You are either drawing nearer to me or drifting away. Do not think lukewarmness is harmless. It is the sleep that numbs the soul, dulling all sensitivity. In that sleep, you may still speak sacred words, sing sacred songs, and perform sacred acts, yet your heart remains hollow. You may enter the sanctuary and forget you are standing before the Holy One. You may hear messages and no longer let the word pierce your heart. You may pray without truly speaking to me. You have turned relationship into ritual, love into duty, and faith into theory. My child, when what is sacred becomes ordinary, your soul is slipping into a coma. I did not create you to live asleep. I made you to live awake, where everything becomes alive beneath my light. I want each of your mornings to begin with a renewed awareness that every breath you take is grace, every sunrise is promise, and every heartbeat is proof that I still hold you. When your heart awakens, even the smallest things become miracles. You will look at rain and see blessing at the cross, and see glory at your old wounds, and see healing. But when your heart grows cold, even miracles will seem mundane. I call you, wake up. Look again within, not with judgment, but with humility. Ask your soul, what fire still burns in me? If you no longer weep at the cross, if you no longer tremble when a soul is saved, if you no longer long for time alone with me, these are signs you must return. Lukewarmness is not broken by shouting, but by surrender. You do not need to wait until you feel the fire, just come to where I am waiting. When you open your heart, I will breathe new life into your spirit. I have seen many who began with blazing fire but ended in ashes. They forgot that the flame must be fed by the oil of discipline. Prayer is not a task, it is the channel of oil. My word is not a book, it is the fuel. Worship is not a performance, it is my heartbeat within you. When these are replaced by schedule, the flame dies. That is why I said, keep your lamp full of oil. Matthew 2:5-4. For when the trumpet sounds, only burning lamps will light the way home. Do you know what wounds me most? Not the hostility of unbelievers, but the indifference of those who once loved. Hatred can be redeemed, but apathy is a sealed tomb. I can touch a broken heart, but I can scarcely reach a self-satisfied soul, and so I knock gently but unceasingly. Not to force you open, but to remind you that I am still here. I want you to hear that knocking amid the noise of the world, the steady rhythm of love that refuses to give up even when forgotten. Stop in the whirlwind of your day. Sit down and listen to your own heart. Has it fallen silent? Has it stopped singing? Have the holy longings been replaced by earthly desires? If so, do not be afraid. I did not come to condemn. I came to rekindle. My fire has not gone out, it only needs the fuel of honesty. Offer me a confession, a single minute of sincerity, one tear, and I will turn it into a spark. I once rose in the long night of humankind to bring forth light. And even now I do the same through the gentle stirring within your heart, through dreams, through my word recalled, through the silence you do not understand. Each of these is an invitation. Wake up. Rise from your spiritual slumber, for my day is drawing near. Look around you, the world is sinking into a deeper night, and I am searching for souls that burn bright. Let yourself be one of them. Do not wait until heaven's fire ignites to seek oil. Do not wait until the door closes to look for the key. Do not wait for the trumpet to sound before you remember me. Today, when you hear my voice, open your heart. Today, while your soul still breathes, respond. For coldness endures only until you whisper, "Come." And the moment you do, the fire will flare again, not by effort, but by my breath. My beloved child, the enemy of your soul does not always come with a fierce face. Often he comes with a smile. He does not push you into the abyss. He leads you down a gentle path strewn with flowers. He does not say, "Deny God," but whispers, "Just be less extreme. Compromise." My child rarely looks evil. It often appears reasonable, balanced, and kind. It does not tell you to turn away from me. It simply tells you to pause a little, to delay a little, to slowly let your heart cool. Compromise is the art of darkness clothed in light. It knows you fear sin, so it does not provoke rebellion. It blurs the line between right and wrong. It confuses truth with convenience, genuine love with self-indulgence. It does not tell you to discard my word. It merely tempts you to choose only the parts that please you. It does not tell you to stop praying. It quietly shifts your prayers from your will to my will. And little by little, your heart stops lifting upward and begins to turn inward. Be alert, for compromise rarely comes. As temptation it comes, disguised as reason. It tells you you need time for yourself, and that is true, but it uses truth to pull you away from the source of life. It says, "Don't be too hard on yourself," and that sounds compassionate, but it slips in a drop of poison called mediocrity. You begin to believe that being good enough is sufficient, and the world begins to define what that means. Then you start to resemble the world more than Christ, speaking the world's language more than heaven's. Compromise never arrives as one great decision. It is a series of small steps, a glance, a word, a choice. It gently convinces you that you can love me and still hold on to the world. But my child, no one can serve two masters. Light and darkness cannot share the same house. Salt cannot be both pure and tasteless. A lamp cannot shine and be extinguished at once. When you try to hold both, your soul will tear apart and peace will disappear. I have seen this through generations. From the days of Israel, my people tried to worship me and Baal at the same time. They sang to me, then offered sacrifices to idols. They believed that as long as part of their heart belonged to me, all was well. But my child, I am a jealous God, not because I am selfish, but because my love is whole. True love cannot be divided. When you try to split your heart, you not only betray me, but you wound your own soul. For I am the source of life, and if you stray from the source, you will wither, even if you appear to thrive. Compromise may seem small, but its consequence is a refined death. It does not kill you with a sword, it numbs you slowly. Like one drugged to sleep, you cease to feel pain when apart from me cease to ache when you hear my word. You still attend church, still smile, still give, yet your heart no longer feels. When I touch you, no longer tremble. When I call you, no longer answer. When I correct you, say, "It's fine, everyone does that." My child, that phrase, "everyone does that," is the lullaby of hell. I did not create you to be like everyone else. I created you to be like Christ. You were not called to blend in, but to stand apart. You were not made to please people, but to please me. The world will always praise compromise because it soothes them in their own fall. But you, child of light, cannot walk in darkness and still expect to carry glory. Remember, if the world applauds you too much, you may be walking too close to it. Do not be deceived by the calm surface of compromise. It is like a tranquil lake hiding a deep abyss. When you step in the water, first feels cool and pleasant, but the deeper you go, the less ground you find beneath your feet. Your soul will sink slowly until you have no strength left to rise. The world will say, "Enjoy your life." But I ask you, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Mark 8:3-6. You may have everything, but if you lose me, you have lost all. Compromise is more dangerous than open sin because it hides its nature. Sin shames you and drives you back to me. Compromise makes you proud and makes you forget me. It teaches you to justify darkness, to polish deceit, to smile in estrangement. It teaches you to say, "I still believe in God," while your heart no longer prays to Him. It teaches you to sing of grace without trembling before the cross. It teaches you to speak of love without knowing obedience. I do not want you to live in fear, but I do want you to live in reverence. For the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Proverbs 9:10. When you revere me, you will not compromise, because you know that true love never trades truth. You will choose pain to preserve purity, rather than comfort to lose yourself. You will choose solitude with me over applause without me. It is the narrow way, but it leads to life. Do not think that only the fallen need repentance. The compromise must also be saved. Repentance is not only for the fallen, but for the lukewarm. Do not wait until all is lost to return. Come back while you can still hear my voice. When you realize your heart has changed, grace is already at work. Respond before the call fades beneath the noise. Do not become one who only speaks of the past. I used to be so close to God. Let your confession change into, "Today He is still with me." My child, compromise may begin with a nod, but it can end with your soul. It may start with a small concession, but it leads down a long road of wandering. So I urge you, stay awake. Guard every gate of your heart, the gate of your eyes, your ears, your mind, your lips. When you let the world define beauty, it teaches you to despise what is holy. When you let public opinion define truth, it teaches you to doubt my word. When you let emotions guide you, you drift away from faith. Do not despair. I can restore the soul that has been compromised. The oil may have run out, but I can refill it. The lamp may be old, but I can renew it. When you return and say, "Lord, I am weary of half-heartedness," I will not scold you. I will embrace you. I will place within you a new fire, not the blaze of emotion, but the flame of true love. That flame will not flare wildly for a moment. It will burn steady, faithful, and unending. For I do not seek the perfect, I seek the faithful. I do not require you to stand without ever falling, but I long for you to fall in my direction. Abandon the gray areas you have tolerated. Choose light or darkness, truth or deceit. For I do not accept halves. I will not share divided love. You cannot hold my hand and Satan's at the same time. You cannot sing praise to me in the morning and exalt the world at night. You cannot say Lord and live as if I were not real. Compromise is the shortest road to lukewarmness, and lukewarmness is the quickest road to spiritual death. But if you hear my voice today, turn back. Close the doors you have opened to the darkness. Silence the voice of reasoning and listen again to the voice of truth. Let my word reclaim the first place in your heart, and you will see wherever surrender is true, resurrection follows. My child, the night of the soul does not always come with thunder or storm. It comes quietly, so quietly that your heart does not notice the light fading. Yet even within that stillness I am calling. My voice is not a roar in the sky, but a whisper in the wind. I do not call to condemn, I call to awaken. For while the world sleeps beneath the dim glow of fleeting things, I still walk among souls, gently touching their shoulders and saying, my child, it is time to rise. Lukewarmness turns the heart to stone, but my love knows how to melt ice, not with wrath, but with warmth. I do not break you to destroy you. I knock so that you may open. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him. Revelation 3:20. That knock has echoed through the centuries. It resounds in every sermon, in every breath of wind, through your chest, in every moment when you suddenly feel empty, in the midst of worldly joy. That is not random sadness, it is the call to return. I know you are weary. I know you have tried to hold yourself together amid the whirlpool of life, where everything feels urgent, everyone is rushing, and even silence is seen as wasted time. You have tried to pray, but your mind keeps scattering. You have tried to read my word, but your eyes rush over it while your heart remains untouched. You think I am angry at your weakness, but no, my child, I only feel compassion. I pity your soul stretched thin, your feet wandering long without knowing what they seek. And I speak to you not with thunder, but with a whisper. Stop, rest in me. You have wondered why this world is so noisy. But the truth is, the world is not loud. Your heart is. The voices of duty, of fear, of ambition, of expectation all play their clashing melodies, drowning out mine. I cannot compete with that chaos, for I speak only in stillness. That is why I sometimes lead you into the desert, not to punish you, but to strip away the noise. In the desert, you hear me most clearly. In solitude, you discover that I was never far. Do not fear the desert. It is there I teach you dependence. When there is nothing left to cling to you, finally hold on to me. When there is no one left to talk to you, finally hear my voice. When you have no strength left to run, you learn how to rest in my arms. The desert does not kill you, it purifies you. It burns away pretense, peels off the layers of religion, strips words of morality that have no life. It leaves only one thing behind: true communion. My child, the spiritual night is not the end. It is an invitation to begin again. When you feel I am silent, I am speaking in another way. When you feel I am distant, I am drawing you closer to teach you to love me for who I am, not for what I give. Like a father who hides to teach his child to seek, I sometimes conceal my face to help your faith grow strong. But do not mistake my hiddenness for absence. I am there in the darkness, in the breath, in every tear that falls. It is my mercy that keeps you alive, not your moral strength. If I ceased loving you the moment you were weak, no one would have hope. But my love endures as I have promised. Though a mother may forget her child, I will not forget you. Isaiah 4:9-15. Even when you are cold, I am patient. Even when you hide, I wait. Even when you do not pray, I intercede for you. For I cannot deny who I am love, and love never fails. You once thought returning meant starting over, that you had to change everything, become worthy again. But no, my child, I ask only one thing, a sincere heart, one whispered. Save me from the depths of honesty is worth more than 1,000 polished prayers. One tear of repentance can shake heaven itself. For I do not seek perfection, I seek a contrite heart. When the prodigal son returned, his father did not wait for him to clean himself. First he ran, embraced him, and placed a ring on his hand. My child, I am running toward you in the same way. Let me embrace you, even while your garments are still stained. Let me wash your feet, though the dust of the road still clings. Let me lift the burden you carry, the weight of guilt, of fear of trying to be enough. You do not need to be worthy to be loved. It is my love that makes you worthy. Stop resisting. Stop saying, not yet. There is no better time than now. Today is the day I have appointed for your return. Today is the moment of grace. You may think, but I have been cold for too long. I tell you, there is no too long in my love. If I could call Lazarus out of the tomb after 4 days, I can call your heart back to life after 4 years, 40 years, even a lifetime. There is no coldness. My spirit's breath cannot warm no soul too far that my hand cannot reach, no wound too deep that my blood cannot heal. I am calling you in the night. Hear that voice not with your ears but with your soul. It is not hurried or loud, but it carries the weight of eternity. It does not say, try harder, but gently whispers, come home. Come home to rest, to a love that does not demand, to a light that never fades. Come home, for the night is deep and the dawn is near. You do not need to know how to begin again, just take one step. When you step, I will do the rest. When you are weak, I will lift you. When you are afraid, I will cover you. When you are lost, I will guide you. And when you return, all of heaven will rejoice. For every soul that comes back shakes the heavens, not because I gain more glory, but because my love is finally fulfilled. Do not sleep in the light any longer. Wake up. Brush off the dust of indifference, dry the tears of failure, and lift your head. I am standing before you. My eyes hold not reproach, but mercy. My hands are not raised to strike, but open to embrace. Let this night become the night of your return. Do not wait for a miracle to happen. Your open heart is the miracle. Let your soul rest in me. Let your breath flow with the breath of my spirit. Let your tears become the river that washes away the ashes of coldness. And then you will hear what every awakened soul hears, my whisper in the stillness. You are forgiven. You are restored. You are mine. My beloved child. Many speak of grace, but few truly understand it. They treat grace as a ticket, a spiritual insurance to feel safe while living their own way. They say God is merciful, yet live as though He is not holy. They proclaim God loves me unconditionally, but use that love as an excuse for spiritual laziness. They believe grace is permission, but my child, grace is not a license to sin. Grace is the power to overcome sin. It does not merely cover the stain, it cleanses it. It does not only forgive, it transforms. It does not only open heaven's door, it closes hell's gate within your heart. Grace does not say, you can stay where you are. Grace says, rise and come out. When I pour grace upon you, I do not give it to make you comfortable in your chains, but to break them. I did not save you to keep you in the old life, but to make you new. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Grace is the very breath of new creation, the power that calls the dead to life, that raises the sinful soul into light. Many want grace without the cross. They want forgiveness without surrender. They long for the crown of glory, but reject the narrow road of dying to self. They forget there is no resurrection without sacrifice, no glory without the cross. Grace never leaves the cross, for there it was born. When I, the Holy One, hung between heaven and earth, hands and feet pierced blood mingling with dust, grace took form. It is not an abstract promise. It is love nailed in place. Look to the cross not only to pity but to understand. Each drop of blood does not just say, I forgive you, but also, come and die with me. For only when you die can you truly live. Die to self, to pride, to lust, to the idols you have built. The cross is not a charm to wear, it is the death sentence for the old self. Whoever seeks new life must pass through it. There is no shortcut, no other path. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily and follow me. Luke 9:2-3. I know that sounds frightening, but that death is not the end. It is the beginning. When you surrender, you do not lose, you gain. When you die, you live. When you let go, you are set free. Grace does not demand that you prove your worth. It invites you to yield and be changed. For only when you stop trying to save yourself can I save you completely. Grace does not need your proof, it needs your trust. Trust that my blood is enough, that my love does not change, that even in your failure, I am making you new. My child, grace is not weak, as many suppose. It is not divine leniency, it is divine strength within human frailty. Grace does not come to make your life comfortable, it comes to make your spirit victorious. It does not arrive to soothe your conscience, but to renew your heart. When you truly walk in grace, you will no longer desire the old ways, not out of fear, but because love has changed your nature. Sin loses its appeal because it no longer fits who you are. Just as a dead tree cannot bear fruit, your old self cannot produce righteousness no matter how hard you try. But when grace plants you again in the soil of life, you begin to bear fruit naturally, not by force but by the flow of my Spirit within you. Every effort apart from grace leads only to exhaustion. But when you allow grace to work, you will find yourself soaring like a bird, moving like the wind, for it is I who moves in you. Let the cross be your beginning again. Do not fear to face it. The world avoids the cross because it exposes the truth of humanity, its weakness, sin, selfishness, and pride. But only when you dare to look straight at it will you see the depth of my love. The cross is both judgment and mercy, both the place where you die and the place where you are born again. When I said, "It is finished," it was not a cry of defeat, it was the declaration of victory. Every sin, every chain, every shame was nailed there with me. From that moment, the veil between heaven and earth was torn and grace began to flow freely. Grace is not a cheap gift, it was bought with blood. Each time you treat it lightly, you cheapen what is priceless. Each time you use grace to justify weakness, you drive another nail into my hands. But each time you let grace transform you, you crown me as king. Every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, humility over pride, truth over comfort, you are living in the power of grace. Let the cross be not merely a memory of faith, but your daily reality. Each morning you awake, remember that you live not by your own strength, but by grace. Whenever you fail, remember that my blood still speaks a better word than Abel's. Whenever you feel your heart grow cold, return to that place where love and justice meet, where tears and glory become one. There you will find me not as the one ready to condemn, but as the one with open arms saying, "My grace is sufficient for you." There is no sin greater than grace, no chain stronger than love. When you surrender, you step into a current that never runs dry. Grace does not merely begin your journey, it walks with you to the end. It is the light that leads, the strength that upholds, the water that cleanses, the wind that carries your boat home, and wherever true grace is, there is life. So lift your eyes to the cross, not with the eyes of a fearful sinner, but with the eyes of a beloved child who has been redeemed. Let grace be not only the words you speak, but the very breath you live. Let the love poured out on Golgotha become the flame that burns within your heart, for when you truly understand grace, you will not live as before. You will live as one forgiven, made new, and being transformed day by day until the image of Christ is fully formed in you. My child, surrender is not defeat. It is the victory of the soul. The world teaches that only the weak let go, that only losers give in. But in my kingdom, the one who surrenders is the one who is free. As long as you cling to control, you bind yourself in fear. As long as you try to manage everything you live, as though I am not wise enough to care for you. Surrender is not stopping. It is changing direction, no longer following your will but mine, no longer leaning on your own strength but walking in the power of the Spirit. You cannot hold my hand and your own will at the same time. One hand can choose only one direction. That is why the cross is not only for me, it is also for you. Not that you should bear the scourging I bore, but that you would crucify the self that insists on being its own Lord. The cross is not where I demand it, is where I exchange. When you place your will upon the cross, I place my will within your heart. When you die to self, I begin to live through you. True surrender does not erase who you are. It makes you who I intended from the beginning. I will not force your surrender. True love never coerces. If I wished I could bow the whole universe to my command, instead I choose to wait. For surrender without love is slavery, but surrender in love is freedom. The more you trust me, the easier it is to let go. The more you know my heart, the more you desire to give. This is not loss, but recovery. As a grain of wheat must fall to the ground and die to bear much fruit, so your heart must break open for life to spring forth. I know you are afraid to lose, to be hurt, to be left behind. Yet what you refuse to release is what weighs you down. You hold on thinking that without it you will be empty, but by clinging, you are never filled. You clutch people, opportunities, plans, an image of yourself, yet all of it slips through your fingers like sand. You were not made to clutch, you were made to offer. When you place everything on the altar, I do not take to leave you lacking. I take to return it in an eternal form. Do not forget, surrender is not once for all, but every day. Not a moment of emotion, but a way of life. Each morning you open your eyes, you must choose again, flesh or spirit, your plan or mine. Some days you will feel strong, others you will feel lost. Do not fear those days. In them your faith is forged. Surrender is not easy. It is a long lesson in trust. As Abraham was asked to offer Isaac, so you will be asked to place your dearest on the altar. But remember, my child, I never take what I do not intend to return in a more perfect form. When you surrender, you step out of the comfort zone and into the realm of miracles. It is precisely where you let go that I act. It is where you are weak that my strength is revealed. It is where you say I cannot that I answer I can. When Moses threw down the staff, it became power. When Peter cast the net at my word, the boat overflowed. When Mary yielded her heart, the Son of Heaven was born. Every true miracle begins with one word, yes. Not a yes that understands everything, but a yes that trusts the one who speaks. You ask, how can I fully surrender? Begin by believing that I am good. You cannot surrender to one you do not trust to be good. If you imagine I intend to harm you, you will never open your hand. But my child, I do not wound to destroy, I prune to heal. No pruning is pointless, no loss is wasted. I remove to lighten, I shape to straighten, I delay to strengthen. And when you look back, you will see that nothing I did was without love. True surrender is born not of fear, but of knowledge. When you truly know me, you will see that my will does not oppose your joy. It is the path to your fullness. You think you know what is best, but I see from beginning to end. You see a door, I see the road beyond it. You count your steps, I have written the journey. When you let me lead, you will arrive where you never imagined. Do not mistake surrender for passivity. Surrender does not mean sitting idle while life turns. It means walking in obedience. When I say go, you go. When I say wait, you wait. When I say leave, you leave. When I say hold fast, you hold fast. Surrender is not doing nothing. It is doing the right thing under command. It is the transfer of lordship from you to me. Then you no longer live for yourself, but for eternal purpose. And in that surrender, you will find the peace the world cannot give. My child, each time you surrender, your soul grows lighter. Each time you release, another tether snaps. Each time you say, "Your will be done," heaven moves. Surrender does not make you smaller, it makes you spacious. Only when your hands are empty can I place something new within them. Only when your heart is no longer occupied by the old can I fill it with life. Do not fear loss. With me, no loss is ever final. Whatever you yield for my sake, I return in eternity. When you surrender, do not expect the world to understand. They will call you weak, foolish, wasteful. They cannot see what I am shaping in you. They look at appearances. I look to eternal outcomes. Joseph was sold as a slave, yet he was being led to a throne. David fled the palace, yet he was being trained for kingship. Each surrender is training for something greater. Believe this. Surrender is the doorway to the greatest miracle transformation. When you let me rule, I will change what you never dared to dream could change. A hard heart becomes soft, fear becomes faith, tears become jewels, and when others look at you, they will no longer see you. As before, they will see Christ in you. This is the aim of grace, not merely that you be forgiven, but that I live through you. Do not resist your cross. Do not flee the place where I have set you, for there the furnace refines gold. When you carry the cross, do not fixate on its weight. Fix your eyes on its result. Each step of obedience is a step nearer freedom. Each death to self is a resurrection in power. Each release is a fresh grasp of my hand. And one day you will look back, smile, and say, "It was all worth it." Let surrender be no longer theory, but your daily practice. When you choose forgiveness, you are surrendering. When you choose humility, you are surrendering. When you choose obedience without full understanding, you are surrendering. When you choose to love though wounded, you are surrendering. This is the way of Christ, the narrow road, but the road that leads to glory. When you come to the end of that road, you will not see loss, you will see love. For in the end, surrender is not handing over what you have, it is finding again the one who gave you everything. Then your soul will say what I said in Gethsemane, "Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done." Luke 2:42. And in those words you will find true freedom, true peace, and true life. When a soul truly surrenders, heaven trembles, for in that surrender, new life begins to flow. When you loosen your grip on control, my hand goes to work. When you die to the self, the life of Christ is formed in you. This is the eternal law of the kingdom. Death before life, surrender before glory. There is no resurrection without the cross. There is no victory without yieldedness. There is no light without the night. But my child, the night does not last forever. For in the heart of night I have hidden the seed of dawn. When you choose obedience in pain, you are sowing the seed of resurrection. When you choose faith in loss, you are weaving a miracle. When you say, "Your will be done," you touch the power that shakes the heavens. The true strength of Christ is not sword or spear, but surrender in love. When he was crucified, he seemed defeated. Yet in that very moment, hell trembled when he breathed. His last darkness thought it had won, but in 3 days the world was overturned, for surrendered love became boundless power. Resurrection power is not an idea, it is reality. It is not only an ancient story, but a living current at work in those who believe. When you truly surrender, that power will rise within you, not only to heal the body, but to revive the soul, not only to help you endure, but to make you a living witness that love conquers death. You will discover a strange thing: in the very places that seem like loss, you will find life. In suffering, you will taste deep joy. In despair, you will glimpse the dawn. This is resurrection power, the power that turns every ending into a beginning, that makes an empty tomb the proof of hope, that turns tears into praise. When I rose, it was not only my body that left the grave. Every soul that is mine was drawn out of the hell of despair, sin, and fear. I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he dies, yet shall he live. John 1:1-5. Believe this not as a far-off promise, but as a present reality within you. As you let me live in you, you will experience that resurrection day by day. Each morning you wake is another rising. Each act of forgiveness lets the old self die, and the new life takes root. Each time you love while wounded, my glory flashes in the night. Each time you choose faith over fear, the darkness in you is pushed back. Resurrection is not only an event in history, it is breath in the present. It is the beat of my heart within your own. My child, I did not die merely that you might be forgiven. I rose that you might be free. Forgiveness is the beginning. Freedom is the goal. Many are forgiven and still live as slaves, pardoned yet fearful, bound by the past. But you were not called to live halfway between sin and grace. You were called to step out and live as one who has risen. When grace is at work in you, every chain falls, fear yields to peace, bitterness to love, sin to righteousness. Resurrection power is not only for getting you through, it is for changing the world around you. When my light blazes within you, the darkness around you loses its refuge. When you forgive those who hurt you, you set free not only yourself, but them. When you choose love, you melt the ice in other hearts. When you live in grace, you become a river that carries life wherever you go. This is the meaning of Christ lives in me. Galatians 2:20, not a slogan, but a reality that renews everything you touch. I know there are days you feel spent, as though your soul has run dry. But remember, a seed splits only when it reaches the deepest dark. When you feel you are coming apart, I am remaking you. When you think it is over, I am about to do a new thing. Do not fear the grave, it is only a doorway. Do not fear the dark, it is only the veil before dawn. Do not fear your losses, for in me every loss is exchanged for eternal life. When you let resurrection power move within you, you will no longer live the loop of failure and regret. You will not live to try harder, but to be transformed. You will see every trial not as a burden, but as a canvas for my power. When Paul said, I live yet not I, but Christ lives in me, it was not philosophy, it was experience. His old self had died, and the new life moved by resurrection strength. And that same life is for you. When you pray, do not only ask for strength, let me be your strength. When you walk, do not only ask for guidance, let me be your way. When you love, do not only ask for kindness, let me love through you. Then you will be more than a believer. You will be a bearer of life, more than saved. You will be one who carries salvation to others. For wherever Christ is, there is life. And when he lives in you, you become living proof that death does not have the last word. Live as one who has risen. Walk as one who is free. Speak as one who bears good news. Love as one who has been forgiven. Forgive as one who has been rescued. Rejoice as one who knows that all on earth is passing while heaven's glory is forever. Remember, resurrection is not a final prize, but a present power. When you live in it, nothing can topple you. No trial can quench you. No darkness can conceal you. For he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. He has overcome, and his victory is yours. When you surrender, you share that victory. When you let go, He acts. When you fall silent, He speaks. When you die to self, He lives in you. This is the secret of grace, the soul of the cross, the heartbeat of new life. So come out of the old tomb. Lay aside the grave clothes of fear, shame, and the past. Let me call you by name, as I called Lazarus. My child, come out, and as you step forth, light will cover you. You will know that you are not merely living for me. It is I who am living in you. And from that moment, you will know the true meaning of freedom, not life by your strength, but life by the power of the one who rose from the dead. My child, before you can understand why I judge, you must understand why I am holy. Holiness is not one trait among many, it is my very being. I do not merely possess holiness, I am holiness. Everything I do, every word I speak, every intention I hold, flows from that absolute purity. Light can do nothing but shine. Even so, I can do nothing but be holy. No darkness can survive before me, for wherever I am, darkness vanishes. Many think holiness is distant, abstract, fit only for angels. But holiness is the breath of life. Without holiness, there is no order, no justice, no true love. Only in holiness does love keep its pure nature. Love without boundaries becomes selfish passion. Mercy without justice becomes compromise. Kindness without holiness descends into chaos. Holiness is what makes all I do perfect, without bias, without error, without stain. Remember, even the angels around my throne dare not gaze directly. They cover their faces, crying with trembling, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts." Isaiah 6:3. Holiness is not a gentle glow. It is a fire so radiant it burns away all that does not belong. It is a refining flame, a blazing river, running through the universe, cleansing defilement, consuming lies, leaving only what is true. When Moses met me in the burning bush, I said, "Do not come near. Remove your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy ground." Exodus 3:5. For a single moment of my presence is enough to make earth itself different. That is why no one can stand before me while still impure, not because I am harsh, but because my very nature is light. Just as a dark substance cannot endure the sun without melting away, so a sinful soul cannot remain in my glory without being consumed. Holiness is not an arbitrary judgment. It is the natural law of heaven. Water cannot blend with fire, light cannot mingle with darkness, truth cannot coexist with lies. Heaven cannot contain what is contrary to its own essence. For heaven is not a reward, it is the environment of holiness. If I allowed sin to exist in heaven, heaven would cease to be heaven. It would become like the earth, where falsehood seeps into human hearts, where love is stained by selfishness, where joy is laced with fear. Precisely because I love, I must keep heaven pure. Precisely because I am merciful, I must judge. My judgment does not spring from blind anger, but from a pure love that refuses to tolerate anything that destroys your soul. My child, my holiness is not opposed to my mercy, they are one. As flame and light are inseparable, so holiness and love dwell together in me. When I judge, it is not because I hate people, it is because I hate what is killing them. I do not wound to cause pain, but to purify. Like a physician who uses a scalpel to remove a tumor, I use the fire of holiness to burn away sin. The cut may hurt, but it brings life. If I were silent, if I simply looked away, that would be true abandonment. In this world, the meaning of holy has been blurred. People call what is unclean freedom. They call compromise tolerance. They call lust love. They bend the truth to fit their feelings and then demand that I bless what I have warned against. But I do not change. Truth cannot be bent by culture. Holiness does not adjust to the times. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 2:4-5. Do not think I judge because I am cold. On the contrary, I judge because I love too much to be indifferent. If you saw a child playing with fire, you would shout, not because you hate the child, but because you long to save them. Sin does not merely offend me, it destroys you. It erodes life, smothers light, and hardens the heart. I cannot stay silent while you walk toward ruin. My silence would be a betrayal of my own love. Holiness is not a burden I lay upon you. It is a gift I offer you. When I call you to be holy, I am not demanding that you become something I will not empower you to be. I call you because I have planted within you the seed of my very nature. When the Holy Spirit dwells in your heart, you are no longer the old creation, you carry heaven's light within. Be holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1:1-6. This is not a cold command, it is a loving invitation. I invite you into the environment where you truly belong. Holiness is not a rigid checklist of rules. It is the state of a heart that loves me above all else. Where that love fills, sin loses its footing. Where that light shines, darkness dissolves. When you desire me more than the world, you will not need to strain to avoid sin, you will simply no longer want it. True holiness does not arise from fleeing sin out of fear, but from being drawn to the light by love. Know this, when you live in holiness, you do not lose joy, you find true joy. You are not restrained, you are set free. Sin always promises freedom, but ends in chains. Holiness teaches discipline, but ends in peace. The world says, do what you want, but only within my will you truly live. The world says, follow your heart, but only a heart reborn can find its way home. I call you to holiness, not to take from you, but to give to you. Holiness is the atmosphere of miracles, the place where I reveal myself, the space where a soul is free to soar in the light. And when you live in holiness, you do not merely reflect me, you become my dwelling place. I do not seek a house of stone, but a pure heart. I do not demand instant perfection. I invite you to walk step by step from glory to glory, from light to light. My beloved, some ask, if God is truly just, why has he not judged this world? Why does he allow sin to continue, the righteous to suffer, and the wicked to prosper? But you must understand, my delay is not hesitation. My patience is not weakness. Every moment I wait is proof of love. Every second I refrain is time purchased by the blood of my Son, so that one more soul might turn back, one more person be rescued from eternal darkness. I am the God of justice. I cannot overlook sin, but I am also the God of mercy. I cannot bear to lose a single soul. Thus justice and mercy meet within my heart, like two rivers flowing into one vast sea. One carries a cleansing fire, the other carries living water that heals. And I, in infinite wisdom, keep those rivers from ever contradicting each other. When I postpone judgment, it is not because I forget, but because I love, not because I am weak, but because I am granting time for repentance. If I acted instantly at every sin, none would remain. For even the smallest things, the thoughts you deem harmless, are enough to shatter holiness. Yet for the sake of mercy, I am slow to anger and abounding in forgiveness. I make my sun rise on the good and the evil alike. I send rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. Each passing day is a gift of my compassion, a gentle invitation. Return. My delay comes at a cost you cannot imagine. Every day I wait, I watch beloved souls slip into eternity with hardened hearts. I hear the cry of the oppressed, the blood of the innocent calling out to heaven. I see violence, deceit, injustice, and cruelty spread. If I were only just and not merciful, judgment would have fallen long ago. But I am love, and love still hopes, still is patient, still waits for one more day. My waiting will not last forever. It has a purpose. I am waiting for the gospel to be proclaimed among the nations, for the intercession of the righteous to rise, for hard hearts to be softened by my Spirit. Every moment I grant this world is a miracle, a sign that the door is not yet closed. But hear me, my child, once the door is shut, no one can open it. Once the time of grace has ended, no one can ask for more. Some scoff and say, "If God is real, why hasn't he returned?" They do not realize that this very delay is what is saving them. The Lord is not slow to fulfill his promise, as some count slowness, but is patient toward you, not wishing that any should perish, but that all should reach repentance. 2 Peter 3:9. This is the voice of mercy, not of postponement. Every sunrise is my whisper, I am still waiting for you. But my child, mercy has a boundary in time, not because it runs out, but because the world's time itself will end. Like a storm appointed its hour, like a harvest ripened for its season, a day is coming when justice will rise. That day will not arrive early nor delay, it will come exactly at the hour I have set, and in that moment no one will say I was unfair. For I have warned, I have called, I have wept through the prophets, through the word, through my Son, and through the voice of the Spirit within human hearts. I do not judge blindly. I judge according to truth, according to the light you have received, according to the understanding you have been given. For there are those who have never heard, and there are those who have heard yet still reject. I am just. I do not let a single tear of the righteous fall unnoticed, nor a single act of wickedness go unaccounted. Every word, every thought, every choice is written in the books. And when that day comes, all that is hidden will be revealed. But my child, do not let your heart tremble for those who are in Christ. Judgment is no longer condemnation, but the declaration that his blood was enough. I want you to understand this. Mercy and justice do not stand on opposite sides, they meet at the cross. Their justice demanded payment, and mercy paid it in full with the life of my Son. Their sin was condemned, yet the sinner was redeemed. There the fire of holiness and the river of grace became one. When my Son cried, "It is finished," justice was satisfied and mercy was opened forever. Nowhere in the universe do love and justice embrace more perfectly than at the cross. Even in silence, I am working in hearts, in history, in the unseen realm. I am preparing messengers, stirring souls, opening nations that have not yet heard the gospel. Every upheaval, war, disaster, revival is my voice calling, "The time is near." You cannot see the whole picture, but the masterpiece I am painting is nearing completion. Do not think I ignore your cry for justice. When you pray, I hear. But my justice does not rush, it completes. I am not mending a broken corner of a fallen world. I am renewing heaven and earth. In that renewal, justice will not merely punish, it will restore. Every broken thing will be made whole, every tear wiped away, every loss repaid in full. Yet before that day comes, no, this mercy is not permission, it is opportunity. Opportunity to repent, to return, to step away from danger. I grant it each day, but no one knows which day will be their last. Therefore today, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart. Live as one who knows that time is sacred, for it is the space where mercy still moves. My child, there will be moments when darkness seems to prevail, but remember, I still hold the wheel of time. Mercy does not delay justice, it paves the way for justice to enter in glory. When that day arrives, every prayer for righteousness, every tear shed for truth will become testimony. Then the world will know I was right, that every delay carried eternal purpose, and that my silence was the deepest voice of love. Do not grow weary in doing good. Do not lose faith in the waiting. Keep preaching, keep loving, keep praying for you. Live in the season of mercy. And when the appointed time is fulfilled, when the trumpet sounds, when heaven opens, you will see that my righteousness and my mercy were never in conflict. They were waiting to be revealed in glory. My beloved, there will come a day when mercy no longer calls and justice will rise in splendor. That day is not far. It approaches heartbeat by heartbeat, like the sun ascending after a long night. People will still work, laugh, eat, build, and dream, as though tomorrow will always come. But in a single instant, As swift as lightning, as sudden as an unannounced storm, the door of grace will close. Not because I have grown weary, but because time will be complete. Not because I desire to cast anyone away, but because I must protect what is holy from being profaned any longer. That day is not a myth. It is not a religious scare, nor a tale for children. It is reality written into the foundation of creation. From the moment humanity fell, the clock began to count down. Every era, every nation, every generation moves toward a single point of convergence when I, the Lord, will rise to judge the living and the dead. On that day, every power will bow, every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And my child, for those who belong to me, it will be a day of rejoicing, but for those who rebel, it will be the most fearful day in human history. Imagine the heavens rolled back like a scroll. Trumpets resound across the skies. Light no longer flows from the sun, but from my own glory. The earth quakes, the seas roar, mountains melt like wax. Kings and rulers, the mighty and the poor alike, will seek refuge, but there will be no place to hide. They will call for the rocks to fall upon them, but nothing can shield them from my gaze. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. Revelation 1:7. And when that light appears, darkness will have no refuge left. Judgment is not an outburst of rage, it is the moment truth is fully revealed. Every hidden thing exposed, every careless word weighed, every thought illuminated. No excuses, no disguises. The very memories people once used to soothe their guilt will rise to testify against them. For I do not judge by appearance, but by the heart. And when the light of holiness shines, nothing can remain concealed. There will be those who stand before me, lips trembling yet speechless. They will recall every chance they were given, every sermon, every whisper of conviction, every gentle knock upon their heart. They will remember the moments they could have turned back but chose delay. Then memory will no longer comfort, it will testify. Their silence will speak louder than words. They will see me not as the crucified Lamb, but as the King of glory with fire in his eyes, and they will know mercy has its time, but it does not last forever. I tell you this not to frighten, but to awaken. For I desire you to be a child of light, not of darkness. I want you ready like a bride awaiting her groom lamp, burning oil, full garments white. Do not be like the foolish ones who thought they had more time. Do not be like the generation of Noah who mocked the warnings until the door of the ark shut. When the waters rose, their cries echoed outside, but the door did not open. Not because I was cruel, but because I had waited long enough. My child, I have given time, opportunity, grace, and the Spirit to convict. I have given my word to guide. Yet some still reject, still delay, using my patience as permission to remain unchanged. They live as if eternity were fiction, as if judgment were far away, but with every breath they step closer to that day. Every sunrise whispers that time moves forward. Every heartbeat is the ticking clock of eternity counting down, and when the trumpet sounds, time will cease. Every unfinished plan will vanish like smoke. Every structure built by human hands will crumble into dust. Every title, position, and achievement, the things for which people traded their souls, will lose all value. Only one question will remain. Do you know me? Not what have you done for me, but do you belong to me? Many have worked for me, yet never walked with me. Many have said, Lord, Lord, but I never knew them. They used religion to hide the distance in their hearts. But I do not seek workers alone, I seek lovers. Today is the day of salvation. Not tomorrow, not when you are ready, not when it is convenient today. For tomorrow is promised to no one. Even your next breath is a miracle. Do not live as though time is endless. Do not delay the most vital decision of your soul, for when the door closes, it will close forever. There will be no second chance, no last-minute escape, no do-over. When I say, it is finished, no one can reverse it. Do not think I take joy in judgment. Every lost soul is a wound in my heart. Every cry from the depths is a fracture in heaven's silence. I did not create hell for mankind, but for rebellion itself. Yet when humanity chooses that path, I cannot stop them without undoing the very freedom I gave. I honor their choice, though it breaks my heart, for true love never forces. I stretched out my arms on the cross, embracing to the very end, yet some still turned away. And when they refused the light, they chose darkness. When they rejected me as life, they chose death. My child, I tell you these things, not so you will live for yourself, but so you will call others. Do not let a soul near you slip into the night without hearing that there is still a way home. Speak, intercede, weep. Time is running short. Use every day as though it were the last to sow the seed of the gospel. Bring light where the embers are fading. Love as if tomorrow will never come. For your mission is not only to be saved, but to help rescue others from destruction. The day the door closes will not only mark the end of time, it will begin eternity. Then those who belong to me will enter a light that never fades, where there are no tears, no pain, no separation. But for those who refused it will be a heavy silence, a deep darkness, a distance from everlasting love. I do not imprison them there, they walk in by their own choice when they reject the light. While my light still shines, come. While my invitation still echoes, answer. While your heart is still tender, open it. Do not wait until the world shakes, until every door is shut, until every cry rises too late. Choose today, choose life, choose me. For I do not want you merely to escape hell. I want you to enter heaven not as a guest, but as my child. And on that day when the door closes behind you, do not fear, my beloved, for I will be holding your hand. When the trumpet sounds, you will not tremble, you will smile, for that sound will not summon you to judgment, but will call you home. And as you enter, I will say, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Matthew 2:5-3. And every tear you ever shed on earth will become a jewel in your crown of glory. My child, heaven is no illusion. It is not a comforting dream for the weak, nor a prize for the deserving. Heaven is the eternal reality, the true home of transformed souls. It is the place where all corruption fades, where light never dims, where love knows no bounds, and where I dwell among my children in glory. Everything on earth is but a shadow of that place, a fragile sketch of the home your heart has longed for, even if you've never seen it. Heaven was not created as a reward for the good, but as the dwelling place of those who belong to me. No one enters because of their good works, but because they have been reborn by my Spirit. For my child, light can only dwell in light. Not all can endure heaven's purity, for it is unlike anything on earth. There all pretense dissolves, all deceit disappears, and every sin, no matter how small, is burned away. Heaven cannot be mixed with anything unclean, for I am holy. Remember, heaven is not an escape from suffering, but the fulfillment of life itself. Many imagine heaven as rest, but truly it is overflowing life. There every being moves in rhythm with love, in an endless song, in perfect unity between the Creator and His creation. There is no boredom, no weariness, no end, only eternal newness. For I, the Maker of the universe, never run out of creativity. Every moment in heaven is a new wave of glory washing over your soul, filling you with wonder and unending worship. I know you ask, how can I understand heaven when I have not seen it? But look at the smallest moments on earth, when your heart is filled with peace in prayer, when your tears fall, yet you feel comfort when dawn's light stirs something eternal within you. Those moments are the breath of heaven, a reminder that you were made for such a place. What no eye has seen, no ear has heard, nor the heart of man imagined, God has prepared for those who love Him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. That is not only a promise, it is the destiny of your soul. Heaven is not merely where I am, it is where you and I will dwell together forever unseparated. There will be no shadow of sin, no fear of parting, no sigh of regret. Every tear will be wiped away, every wound healed, every loss restored. There will be no mourning, no sickness, no death, only life overflowing like a clear river flowing from my throne. Each soul will live in my light as fish swim in the sea, as birds soar in the sky. My presence will no longer be something you seek. It will be the very air you breathe. I want you to understand, my child, heaven is not a place of reward, but of union. On earth you live by faith. In heaven you will live by sight. There I will no longer be the one you pray to from afar, but the one you behold face to face. All doubt will vanish. Every question will be answered. Every fear will dissolve into nothing. You will not need the light of the sun, for I will be your light. You will not need a temple, for I will be your dwelling. You will not need prayer, for you will live in unending communion with me, not through words, but through perfect oneness. Heaven is the place where every deepest longing of the soul is satisfied, not by possessions, but by love. You will desire nothing else, for I myself will be your portion. When I said I am your inheritance, Psalm 165, I meant that I am the fullness of joy your heart has always sought. No melody compares to the song of glory. No fragrance rivals the scent of my presence. No radiance equals the light of my gaze. And when your soul meets me, you will understand that every pain, every loss, every sacrifice you ever endured was but a small price for the infinite treasure that is me. There are those who think heaven is only for saints of great stature, but I tell you, truly heaven is for those who know they need grace. No one attains it on their own. No one is worthy. All who enter come through the blood of the Lamb. So do not think heaven is distant. It is nearer than you imagine. Every time you love, you touch a ray of it. Every time you forgive, you open its door within your heart. Every time you worship, heaven responds. Heaven is not merely where you will go. It begins within you when my spirit dwells in you. My child, can you see why I cannot let sin enter this place? It is not because I wish to exclude, but because I must protect. Heaven is woven of love and purity. If even a grain of pride, a spark of envy, a trace of deceit were to enter, the entire essence would be defiled like a drop of poison in a pure spring. Therefore, only those whose souls have been washed in the blood of my Son can endure this glory, not because they are perfect, but because they have been transformed. Heaven is not merely a destination, it is the destiny I placed in the DNA of your soul from before the foundations of the world. That is why you will never find true peace on earth. Nothing here can satisfy you, for your soul was made for eternity. You may gain everything, be loved by many, hold the world in your hands, yet still feel empty because you do not belong here. Your heart will never rest until it returns to where it came from, within my heart. While you live on earth, live as a citizen of heaven. Let your words, your gaze, your kindness, your faith reflect your true homeland. Let others feel through your presence the fragrance of the place you belong to. Let your soul be an ambassador of eternity in a fleeting world. For every act of love brings a fragment of heaven to earth. And when you finally enter the true heaven, you will realize you already know it, because it is the place your heart has always longed for, the home I have prepared for you from the beginning. My beloved, heaven is not merely a realm of golden streets, angelic choirs, and crowns of glory. Those are but reflections, the outer shimmer of a reality far deeper, holier, and more radiant. The eternal union between the Creator and the redeemed. Every beauty of heaven flows from that communion. Every song is an echo of infinite love. Every light there shines from my face. Every life flows from the source of life, me. Without me, heaven would cease to be heaven. It is my presence that makes heaven what it is, and every soul who loves me knows that the greatest reward of eternity is not a crown, but me myself. When the soul enters that place, every distance between us will vanish. There will be no boundary between the worshiper and the one worshipped, between the lover and the beloved. I will be in you, and you in me, just as I am in the Father, and the Father in me. John 1:7-1. That communion will be perfect, absolute, no more barrier of sin, no more fear, no more weakness of flesh. You will not pray because you lack. You will not seek because you have found. Then prayer will become praise, and praise will become your very breath. You will see that heaven is not merely a place where the soul is with God, but where the soul is in God. Every motion, every breath, every heartbeat will pulse in rhythm with heaven's melody. Every thought will harmonize with my will. Every desire will flow from my heart. You will no longer need to strive to love, for love will be your nature. You will no longer struggle to be faithful, for faithfulness will be written into your being. All the things you battled on earth, fear, temptation, weakness, will cease to exist. You will not merely worship me. You will become worship itself. Human understanding cannot grasp the fullness of this divine union, just as the human eye cannot look directly at the sun without being overwhelmed. But I tell you truly, one day you will see, and then you will know that I created you not to serve as a slave, but to love as a beloved. From the beginning of creation I ordained that you would bear my image, that you would reflect my essence. When I breathed life into you, I planted within you the seed of eternity, the fragment of myself that nothing can destroy. That is why nothing temporary can satisfy you. You carry the longing of heaven within. Heaven is where that longing is finally fulfilled. There you will not seek love, for you will dwell within its very source. You will not pursue righteousness, for you will live in its essence. You will not chase the light, for you will be immersed in my glory. Like a drop of water falling into the ocean, you will not lose yourself, but will be enveloped in vastness. You will still be you, but you made glorious, you made whole, you united with the one who made you. My child, there will be no separation there. No more you here and I there. No more you call and I answer. For your thoughts will blend with mine. Everything you think, I will know. Everything I speak, you will understand. There will be no words, because words will no longer be needed. The silence of that place will not be emptiness, but the language of union. And in that silence, glory will flow like a river, and your soul will dissolve into a love too deep for words. Imagine, my child, a moment when you stand in my presence, where light does not shine upon you from without, but rises from within you. There you and I are no longer separate. In that place, every scar, every sorrow, every wound is transformed into glory. Every hurt you once carried on earth becomes a mark of grace. Every tear you once shed reflects the light of new life. I will look at you, and you will look at me. No distance, no fear, and in that gaze every question will find its answer. My child, I did not save you merely from hell. I saved you for this communion. The purpose of salvation is not simply to escape punishment, but to return to love itself. Nothing on earth compares to this. Every joy you have ever known, every laughter, every grace you have received, these were but dewdrops heralding the reign of glory to come. When you enter that place, time will dissolve. There will be no before or after, only the eternal now, where I am always I am. I do not want you to long only for heaven, but to long for me. For heaven without me is no heaven at all. Heaven is not a destination, it is a union with the one who created it. You do not have to wait until death to begin this communion. It begins the moment you open your heart to me. When you worship, when you love, when you live in my presence, you are already tasting heaven. So, my child, let every day on earth be a lesson in communion. Do not let your faith stop at believing that I exist. Live as though you exist in me. Learn to see through my light, to love with my heart, to forgive by my strength. For heaven is not only where you will go, but what you are being shaped to become. As my Spirit works in you, He is preparing your soul for eternal fellowship, training your heart to beat in rhythm with the heartbeat of heaven. Do not fear breaking, for only in being broken can you be joined to me. Do not fear losing yourself, for when you lose the temporary, you will find your true self in the image I designed. This union does not erase you, it fulfills you. You will not be consumed but completed. You will not lose your name. Your name will be written in fire upon my heart. You will not be absorbed. You will be glorified. And when I look at you, I will see myself in you, and you will see me in everything. My child, this is the mystery of heaven, not gold, not jewels, but love. Love knows no distance, no beginning, no end. It is a river that never dries, a flame that never fades, a song that never ceases. And you, my redeemed one, so small yet bought with blood, will live in that love forever, never apart from it. I know many hearts ask, if God is love, why doesn't He let everyone into heaven? That question has echoed through generations, through tears, doubts, and fears. But my child, the answer lies not in severity, but in holiness. Heaven is not a reward for the moral, but a home for the transformed. It is not a refuge for those fleeing hell, but the natural dwelling of those who love me. You cannot enter a place of light while still clinging to darkness. It is not that I drive anyone away, but that they cannot bear the light. They have grown too accustomed to the night to face the dawn. Understand this: heaven is not merely a location, but the atmosphere of holiness. There everything lives and breathes in love and truth. Holiness is not a rule, it is the heartbeat of that realm. If an unreborn soul were to enter heaven, would cease to be heaven, it would become a conflict. For in light there can be no shadow. Just as one false note distorts a symphony, or one drop of poison taints a river, a soul still bound by corruption cannot exist where I am the center. Not because I reject them, but because they cannot endure my presence. My light, the very thing the righteous long for, becomes torment to those who refuse to repent. Heaven is the place where all things move toward me, where everything exists in the harmony of my love and order. But the souls who love themselves more than me will suffocate there, for heaven does not revolve around the self. They will feel pain and glory, for the light exposes what they tried to hide. They will feel emptiness in the music, for the song does not praise them. They will tremble in peace, for their hearts are not reconciled. Heaven to them will feel like hell, not because I cast them out, but because their nature was never transformed. My holiness does not force, but it also never compromises. I did not create hell for mankind, but for Satan and his rebellion. Yet when humanity chooses sin, pride, and separation, they walk the same path as the fallen. Heaven is where I dwell, the source of life. Hell is the absence of me. Thus, hell is not merely punishment. It is the natural consequence of rejecting the source. A soul trying to exist without me will eventually collapse in on itself. Without light, only darkness remains. Without love, only emptiness. Without truth, only chaos. That is hell, not because I throw anyone there, but because they would not let me in. Heaven cannot be a joy to those who do not love me. Many say I want to go to heaven, but what they truly desire is a place without pain, tears, or death, not a place with me. Yet heaven cannot exist apart from my presence. It cannot be joy without the source of joy. Those who seek blessings without the blesser, comfort without communion, will never taste the joy of heaven, for that joy is not born of circumstance, but of me. My child, I do not seek the perfect, I seek the willing. I do not demand that a soul be clean before it comes. I invite the unclean so that I may cleanse it. But I cannot turn heaven into a refuge for sin. If I did, heaven would cease to be heaven. If I allowed corruption to enter, it would become the reflection of earth, chaotic, deceitful, proud, and fearful. And thus it would lose its very essence. That is why I cannot compromise, not because I lack love, but because true love has boundaries. True love does not overlook evil to keep peace. It is the fire that burns away impurity to protect what is pure. I love you too much to let you carry sin into the place that would destroy your soul. I did not make heaven to be a shelter for those still at war with me. I paid the price with my son's blood so you could enter. But that door is open only to those who desire to be changed. You cannot bring the old self, your pride, bitterness, hypocrisy, or worldly desire through that threshold. For heaven is not a refuge from the fire, it is the home of those refined by it. Do not think I am unaware of the human heart. I see the motives. I see deceit wrapped in a religious shell. I hear prayers spoken with lips but not with the heart. Some say, Lord, give me heaven, yet they do not want me to reign in their lives now. They want my blessing but not my rule. They want my healing but not my hand upon their sin. They want light but refuse to leave the darkness. They want heaven but they fear holiness. And my child, heaven cannot open to such a heart, not because I lock it, but because they cannot endure my glory. I am the Holy One, and that cannot change. If I compromise to tolerate sin, I would cease to be myself. Yet precisely because I am holy, I have made a way for you to draw near. That way is not merit, it is blood. Through the cross sin was nailed, the sentence canceled, and the soul reborn. Humanity could not climb to heaven, so I came down to open the way. No one enters by their own strength, but anyone may enter by faith. That is grace, and this grace is not indulgence, but the miracle of righteous love. My child, I forbid no one. The door stands open. But the day is coming when it will close, not because I wish to exclude, but because I honor human choice. I will not force a soul to live with me forever if it has chosen to live without me in this passing life. True love never courses. Heaven is not a prison for those compelled to worship it. It is the home of those who desire to love me forever. So do not ask why I do not let everyone into heaven. Ask why so many refuse the light while it still shines. Heaven is for hearts that bow low, not for those who seek their own exaltation. It is for those who know that all glory belongs to the Lord, not for those who would keep glory for themselves. It is for those who have died to themselves in order to live in me. For when you have died in me, you truly live. When you lose everything for my sake, you can receive everything from my hand. When you surrender, you are set free. And when you choose me, you choose heaven, not as a prize, but as the place where you truly belong. Remember this. I do not draw boundaries to shut people out, but to protect what is holy. Holiness is not a wall. It is the atmosphere of pure love. Only when your soul is cleansed can you breathe that air. This is why not everyone enters, not because they are pushed away, but because they are not yet ready. And right now, while you can still hear, while your heart still beats, I am inviting you. Let me prepare you for glory. Heaven is not far, my child. It awaits the moment you yield fully and allow me to be all in you. My beloved, while the world drowns in its own clamor, my voice still sounds not in the storm, not in the thunder, but in a gentle whisper calling those who will yet listen. That call is not rebuke, but love. It echoes through the valleys laid waste by sin, cuts through humanity's hollow laughter, pierces the haze of deception, and reaches your soul tired of searching for what is true among so much pretense. I am calling you, not to accuse you, but to bring you home, not to shame you, but to set you free, not to add to your burdens, but to lift them away. Do not let other voices drown out what is real. The world is full of promises of money, status, and boundless freedom, but they are emptiness wrapped in glitter. They tell you that you can define happiness alone, that you do not need me, that all roads lead to the light. But I tell you the truth. There is only one way, one truth, and one life. John 1:4-6. Every other path leads to lostness. They call darkness light and light darkness. They celebrate rebellion as freedom and scorn holiness as a chain. But my child, I made you for the truth, and that truth is found only in me. I see your soul pulled in many directions, torn between longing and fear. At times you want to draw near to me, yet you think you are unworthy. At times you want to change, yet you fear losing what is familiar. But I ask you, what in this world can truly keep you safe? What can give you peace that does not vanish when storms arise? Nothing but me. For I do not merely give peace, I am peace. I do not merely show the way, I am the way. I do not merely speak of life, I am life. You will never find what I give in anything where I am absent. Do not forget, I do not call you to be repaired. I call you to be remade. I did not come to make you better, but to make you entirely new. I do not patch the old heart. I give you a heart of flesh, tender and responsive to my love, Ezekiel 3:6-26. But I cannot do this if you do not open your heart. I knock, but I will not break the door. I call, but I do not shout. I wait with patience, but time does not. With every day you are stepping closer to a threshold no one can recross. Not because I wish to threaten you, but because this is time's reality. When the last breath leaves the body, the soul meets eternity, and eternity does not change. My child, do not treat my mercy lightly. Many think that because I have not judged, I will never judge. They mistake my delay for weakness. But it is my kindness that holds this world together. It is my patience that restrains wrath, giving souls like you space to return. I am stretching time for love's sake, but love cannot be stretched forever in the face of refusal. A day will come when I will rise, and then every mouth will fall silent. Every reason, every excuse will evaporate in the light of holiness. This age spins faster than ever. People run without knowing where they are going. They speak of progress while moving against the grain of life. They extol freedom while sinking deeper into chains. They speak of love while their hearts grow cold. True love has been replaced by craving. Truth has been twisted into opinion. Faith has been traded for celebrated doubt. Yet even in this night, a light still shines, not from the world, but from where I dwell. It still illumines those who want to see. Do not think you must be perfect to come. It is your brokenness that qualifies you. You need not tidy yourself to be received. Simply come and I will cleanse you. The blood of the Lamb is enough. There is no sin too great for me to forgive, no stain too deep for my blood to wash away. The only thing I cannot forgive is the refusal to be forgiven. So do not let sin drive you from me. Because of sin I came. Do not let the past hold you back. Because of your past I died. Do not let fear keep you captive. Because of fear I gave you the spirit of peace. Pause a moment in the world's relentless spin. Listen. This call is not for the crowd, it is for your soul. It does not blare outside, it resounds within. You know my voice, for your soul heard it before you were born. It is the most familiar sound, though you have forgotten it. Let your heart remember. Let your tears fall, they are the sign that the ice is melting. Let your heart grow soft again, there is where I can dwell. My child, I stand amid the storm. The world has raised arms wide, not to hold back the waves, but to draw in all who wish to be saved. I do not promise you will never face strong winds, but I promise you will not sink. I do not promise you will never weep, but I promise your tears will not be wasted. I do not promise you will never lose, but I promise every loss in me will be turned to glory. Do not fear. I know your weakness. I know your trembling, and it is in weakness that my strength is made perfect. This is the hour of decision, not of feeling, but of choosing. You cannot stand between two roads forever. You cannot long for light and love the dark. You cannot desire peace and cling to sin. One day you must choose, and today is that day. For I stand before you not with thunder, not with spectacle, but with a gentle whisper. My child, come home. Let these words sink deep into your spirit. I have never left you. However far you have wandered, whatever you have done, however guilty you feel, I am still here. When you weep, I hear. When you fall, I see. When you think no one loves you, I still love. When you think it is too late, I still wait. No night is too long for me. No wound lies beyond my healing. No soul is beyond my saving. Therefore, my child, delay no longer. Come home. Let me be the first and the last in your life. Let me wipe away every trace of the past and write a new chapter with the blood of grace. Do not let this call pass you by unanswered. For today, not tomorrow, is the day of salvation. Hebrews 3:1-5. Open your heart, for heaven is listening for the first breath of a soul returning. My beloved, the generation you live in stands on a threshold where the line between grace and judgment is narrowing. This is no longer the hour for empty words or hollow religion. This is the hour when truth and falsehood are being separated like wheat from tares in the field of this world. Light and darkness are being clearly divided, and no one can remain in the middle. The world is moving into its last hour, and I am sounding a final call. This call is not to frighten you, but to awaken those who have slept in false security. It is the bell at midnight, the trumpet on the battlefield, the father's voice calling his child home before the door shuts forever. Look around you, will see the signs everywhere. Love has grown cold. Deceit is enthroned. Violence is applauded. People are clever in knowledge, yet ignorant in soul. They touch the stars with technology, yet no longer know how to kneel. They speak of peace while their hearts are at war. They build great cities while their inner world is a desert. They seek light within themselves and forget that true light comes only from the one who said, "Let there be light." They worship creation instead of the Creator, love darkness, because they fear the light that exposes what they hide. They say, "I no longer exist," yet the breath in their lungs still testifies that I am there. My child, this is the season when prophecy is being fulfilled. As in the days of Noah, people ate and drank, married, and were given in marriage, and mocked the warning until the ark's door closed and the rain fell. As in the days of Lot, sin was called normal and depravity freedom, until fire came down from heaven. But I tell you, this time is even more serious. Never has humanity been given so much light, yet chosen darkness. They hold my word in their hands, but live as if they had never heard it. They see the cross, but treat it like decoration. They speak and sing about me, yet do not know me. They use my name for their own gain, turning the gospel into a tool for the flesh, and grace into a license for sin. This is the cry from heaven, the final invitation to this generation. Be awake, for an hour is nearer than you think. Do not let worldly comfort lull you to sleep while your soul stands at the cliff's edge. Do not let compromise slowly steal the fire within you. Do not let busyness rob you of the one thing that matters me, for I am coming soon. Not quietly as before, not as an infant in a manger, but in glory and power, with fire in my eyes and a sword from my mouth. Revelation 1:9, 1:2, 15. Then every knee will bow and every tongue confess that I am Lord, but for many that confession will come too late. I do not desire that anyone be lost. I do not want any soul to dwell where I am not. Therefore I called again one more time, one last time. Tell them grace still remains, the door is still open, the Spirit still convicts, and the blood still speaks forgiveness. Call them to repentance, not with condemnation, but with love. Tell them there is hope. None is too far to return, too stained to be cleansed, too broken to be healed. But tell the truth as well. Opportunity does not last forever. A day will come when time will stop. A day when the trumpet will sound. A day when mercy yields to justice. My child, I have placed this generation at a decisive moment. This is the time to choose. There is no neutral ground, no gray zone. Every soul must choose me or the world, light or darkness, life or death. I will not let you stand in between, for the middle is the soil of compromise, and compromise is the gentle road to ruin. Be resolute. Dare to stand apart. Though the world may mock, friends may leave, and crowds may turn their backs, remember, in loneliness, you will meet me. In rejection, you will grow to resemble me. In losses, you will find glory. I am seeking those who will not bow to idols, souls that will not bargain with the dark people, willing to let my light blaze through them in this night. I am looking for those like Noah who built an ark before the rain, like Elijah who cried out in a drought, like John the Baptist who shouted in the wilderness, "Prepare the way of the Lord," Matthew 3:3. I am not looking for the famous. I am looking for the surrendered. I do not choose the strong. I choose the broken because in their weakness, my strength is revealed. Do not fear being few. Do not be dismayed by the loneliness of faith. I have never needed a crowd to do great things, only one heart willing to say yes. Every generation has its voice. I am calling you to be that voice for yours. Let your words be a conduit of grace, your eyes a reflection of my light, your heart a furnace of prayer for sleeping souls. Do not be silent. Do not compromise. Do not fear. I am with you, even if the whole world turns away. This world is racing toward destruction, yet I delay. I hear the cries of the intercessors. I see the tears of those who kneel in the night. I still number the souls willing to return, so call them, tell them time is short. Do not wait until my light disappears from the sky. Do not wait until the invitation falls silent. Come while there is time. This hour is holy. Every minute, every second carries the weight of eternity. Every soul saved is a shout in heaven. Every soul that refuses is a tear on high. Do not think your work is small. Every word you speak, every act of love, every prayer you whisper reverberates in the world to come. Live as one sent, walk as one who bears fire, love as one who knows time is running out. For I am coming, and when I return, I long to find faith on the earth. Luke 1:8. Tell them I do not come to end things, but to complete them. I do not come to destroy, but to renew. I do not come to take away, but to give back whole, pure, eternal. But to share in that kingdom they must choose today. For love does not coerce, and it does not wait forever. I knock not because I need them, but because they need me. The door of grace still stands open, but the footsteps of the King are already sounding. This is the hour of the final fire, a fire that purifies, tests, and separates. What is true will stand, what is false will burn. Do not be afraid. This fire does not come to destroy you, but to refine you. It will burn away sin and leave the gold of faith. It will consume the self and magnify my name. Stand firm, my child, for I am preparing my bride for the wedding of the Lamb. And when the trumpet sounds, you will see heaven open, and me, the King of glory, coming on the clouds, while the hosts of heaven sing, "The one who died now lives forever," my beloved. There will be a day when the sky is no longer silent. On that day, every cry will turn to shout, every tear to a jewel, and every faithful soul will lift its head in indescribable joy. On that day, I, the one the world denied, will return no longer as the slain lamb, but as the glorious King sovereign over all creation. The trumpet will resound, the sun will bow, the heavens will part, and the radiance of my glory will cover the universe. No darkness will be thick enough to hide from me, no power strong enough to resist me. For I am the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the one who died and now lives forever. On that day, love will no longer be a promise, it will be a total reality. Everything you once believed by faith you will see with your eyes. Every word I spoke will come to pass one by one without fail. And in that moment, as glory floods earth and sky, you will know that everything I did, permitted, and delayed was because of love. You will know that every tear you shed, every storm you endured, every long night of hidden prayer, was written in my book. No pain was wasted, no prayer forgotten, no faith overlooked. Imagine it graves opening the sea, yielding its dead dust, rising into glorified bodies. The weak standing in new strength, the despised wearing crowns. The hosts of heaven crying, "Lift up your heads, O gates. Behold, the King of glory comes." Psalm 2:4-7. And the redeemed will sing a song angels cannot sing, the anthem of those ransomed by the blood of the Lamb. It is the song of victory, of love that conquered death, of glory beyond all understanding. You will see me not through a veil, not through symbols, not even through scripture, but face to face. And when you look into my eyes, you will behold what no theology or philosophy can contain. Love eternal, pure, unconditional, without limit. That gaze will pierce your soul, not to condemn, but to affirm you are mine. Then you will hear my voice, not as a whisper in the wind or a stirring in your heart, but as a gentle thunder across the heavens. Well done, my beloved. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Matthew 2:5-3. On that day, fear will vanish. Death will be swallowed up in victory. No graves, no sickness, no night. Time will bow to eternity. All creation will join in a new symphony, the song of recreation. Mountains will dance, seas will clap their hands, and every creature will exclaim, "Blessing and honor to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb." Revelation 5:1-3. It is the wedding of the Lamb and you. My child are the prepared bride robe, whiter than snow, heart ablaze, with love lips smiling in everlasting light. When I return, I will not be a stranger. You will recognize me, for you have learned my voice, the very voice that called you in lonely nights, wiped your tears in painful hours, and held your hand when you thought you could not go on. That voice will say, "My child, it is finished." And in that instant, the burdens of years and the battles you fought will dissolve like mist at dawn, leaving only joy, the joy the world cannot give and cannot take away. I will make all things new. A new heaven and a new earth will appear. The river of life will flow from my throne, the tree of life on either side, its leaves for the healing of the nations. Revelation 2:1-2. No more bloodshed, no more division, no more war. The nations will walk in my light. I will be their Sunday. No more night, no more shadow, no more fear. For I will dwell with them, and they will be my people. And I myself will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Revelation 2:1-3-4. Hold fast to that hope. Do not let delay discourage you. I will not forget my promises. Every promise rests in my hands, like a seed awaiting its season. My return is not slow, it is timely. As a farmer does not harvest before the season, I wait for the fields of souls to ripen, and when the hour comes, nothing will hinder me. Thunder will roll, the heavens will open, and I will come not in secret, but in a glory every eye will see. Do not fear the day of my coming. It is not a day of loss, but of reunion. The sleeping in me will rise. The persecuted will be honored. The faithful in little will be entrusted with much. It is the day when every "I'm sorry," every "I love you," every "I believe" will be made complete. Every dream I planted in your heart will be fulfilled in my light. Live as one who knows the King is near. Keep your lamp burning. Guard your heart, so love's flame does not fade in the long day. Do not let faith become routine. Let it be the living heartbeat of your life. Love, forgive, pray, proclaim, not out of fear but out of hope. Let your life be a lamp, guiding others through the night, so that seeing your light they may find me. Remember, I do not only come to the universe, I come to each soul. For everyone, the day of my coming will be like a thief in the night, quick, sudden, without warning. Therefore live ready. Keep your heart pure, your hands unstained, your lips free of lies. Live as though I were coming today, and work as though I tarry, so that more souls might be saved. Nothing delights me more than seeing you enter glory, with those you led into the light. And when all is finished, I will stand between the new heavens and the new earth, look upon you and say, Behold, I make all things new. No more brokenness, no more regret, no more distance. Then you will fully know the meaning of love, the love that outlasted time, conquered death, and carried you into eternity. Keep this word close. Behold, I am coming quickly. Revelation 2:1-2. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. Revelation 2:1-0. Keep watch and be awake, for the trumpet is prepared and the fire ready. Do not tremble, for perfect love has cast out fear. Lift up your head, for your redemption draws near. Then I will take your hand not by faith but in reality and say, You kept the faith. You overcame it. Now come home, and you will step inside to the songs of heaven, the splendor of light, and the embrace of love that never fades. I love you, and I am coming. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please click subscribe and turn on notifications so we can keep receiving the living word together and build an unshakable faith and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.